world where equality is just another euphemism for mediocrity, where participation is more highly valued than achievement, where just enough to get by is the new standard of excellence. There is a small minority of people who fight back against such apathy, who struggle daily to reach new heights. These brave few are the hope for the future, the bright shining light for the next generation. They are the ones who will lead us to the places we have never dreamed of, to the undiscovered country, to reach goals only a few can even begin to imagine. Unfortunately, none of those people could be here tonight, so kick back and relax. Prepare yourself for several hours of fun, friendship, fascinating conversation, and fabulous music. All those F's, that's an alliteration and kind of a radio trick. Speaking of radio, you're listening to the most popular radio station in the history of broadcast radio, at least among stations that originate from Chris's living room. It's Curious Times. Your host is Curious Listener. Here she is, Chris.
Alrighty. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Curious Times. It's Monday. I don't like Mondays. Tell me why. And it's May 7th, and we have Dianna Monroe here, our paranormal person, one of our paranormal paranormal people. PP, a paranormal person. And, and then I'm just going to quickly say what else we got tomorrow. We have Melissa Bruce, the heavy metal psychic, and she'll be here. That's our life coach / psychic / astrologer, and Kathleen Morris here on Wednesday. The rock chick / medium / psychic / you name it. Stone tumbler, rock chick. Okay, so there we go. I haven't seen Marie in ages. She can't hear either. Amy could hear for a second, and now Amy can't hear again. Something going on, or what's going on, you guys? On and off again, speakers going on here. Okay. Hi, Marie! It's been forever. Feels like it's been forever. I hope everything's well. And okay, let's get going. So Dianna is a psychic medium, a Reiki Master, a past life regression specialist, a paranormal investigator, and an ordained minister. She's a graduate of the Silva Method and has training in various other areas, let's just say, so I don't have to say Master Chen, a Taoist priest and healer, because I wouldn't want to have to say Master Chen, a Taoist priest and healer. And so you can connect with Dianna at her website at www.psychicfrontier.com. This is where I want to have, I keep saying, like some old Western Trump bugle sound / horses thundering type of sound. The psychicfrontier.com. And then have that kind of a thing. That's what I gotta do. Anyway, let's go get Dianna. Hello, Dianna.
Da-da-da. Hello.
Yeah, something like that. Maybe we'll get you the Gunsmoke music or something. So what's going on?
Well, I'm hoping to have a couple paranormal investigations coming up. I got a couple leads locally. Working on getting some people together to do it. As it gets closer to Memorial Day, though, people tend to scatter. So,
yeah,
hope to get a couple of them set up soon.
It's like you wait for the nicer weather so you can do them, and then when the nicer weather comes, everybody buggers off and goes and enjoys the nice weather.
Yeah, everybody's blown to the wind.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. So anyway, well, that's interesting. That's very good. Very, very good. And so anything else? What's been going on?
No, not a lot. I've just been working with my own intuition a lot, and that's been pretty fun, and writing about it and all that good stuff. Although nothing's going up on my blog real soon because my computer just crashed, so I'm still trying to get that resolved. Yeah.
Jeez. That's unfortunate. I hate that. I
Yeah,
hate that. I have a crappy old. Go ahead.
Well, I consider myself lucky that it hadn't happened before, because I've been on the internet and had a computer for, I don't know, I had the computer since about 30 years and was on the internet when it first went live, almost that long ago, and nothing like that had happened since, so lucky it hadn't happened so far, but I'm hoping it never happens again.
Yeah, I didn't get onto the internet until I want to say about 2006 or so. You know what I mean? Maybe
really?
A little bit.
So you didn't know what it was like before there were ads everywhere?
No, although I do remember really when I first did get it, or use it even for more than just email, you know what I mean? I just remember that dial-up, and oh my God, how freaking long it took to do anything.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
and
that was nasty.
So I didn't really, you know what I mean? I really didn't use my computer for that much actually before. And I didn't really even put much importance on it. Now it's if my computer died, I wouldn't know what to do, you know? I have a crappy backup laptop or something should the worst thing happen.
Well, I was lucky that I actually listened to my intuition, because the course of last month I'd get these messages saying, write this down, put this in your day planner book, and I'm like, yeah, okay, I hadn't thought of that. It's here on this file where I know where it is, but okay, I'm just going to write it down. So thankfully, I've got most of the things that I was looking to do here in the next couple of weeks, so that's something.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
So always listen to your intuition.
Is it a desktop computer or a laptop?
Desktop.
Yeah. I mean, I remember, and I don't know if you can do the same, but I had a laptop go out on me. You know what I mean? I had a laptop go out on me a long time ago, and I just I just ripped it open and grabbed the hard drive from it, and then it just became an external drive. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And so I was able to save all that stuff. And I still have a bunch of stuff on my last computer that I still keep meaning to. It's just that I only have one screen, right? One monitor, and then the keyboard and the mouse required for my older desktop is different than the keyboard and the mouse I need for the other one. So the amount of pain in the ass that it is to get back onto the old computer, and so far I haven't been that motivated. You know what I mean? But there's some stuff I really do need from the old computer yet. But it didn't completely break or crash or do anything bad like that. So I should be able to. Although there'll be 20 hours worth of updates or something probably the next time I log my old computer on, right?
Oh, that could be, yeah. Yeah, I'm hoping that all of my stuff can be recovered and copied, but yeah, it's just still a hassle, because it takes time to get someone to do all that, everything, and then get started again.
Well, I mean, there's something to be said for the cost of external drives. You know what I mean? There's something to be said about not storing anything on your computer, but having a few different external drives, and they're easy enough to hook up and everything like that. And now, if I remember correctly, this is just how would this happen? It's been forever since this. I think it's just a case, and inside of this is my old computer, my old laptop hard drive that is inside of this. that I took out of my old computer and then put inside this case, right? And so then there's just the connection down there. And then I got this other and as time goes on, these things are, cheaper and cheaper. I'd have to unplug it. But they're holding an incredible amount of information for really not very much money. You know what I mean? To buy. And so the smart people are really, not really storing much at all on their computer's hard drive, and they're just utilizing external drives. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't know. I've never used one, so I didn't know if you could get one like a big size, like what you might have on your desktop or laptop computer. Huge? Huge.
Like the one that I have, like I have one right now plugged into my computer, and so I don't want to just unplug it. But what I can do is I can just check the specs on it, and so let's see. This computer, okay, my one, it's ADATA is the brand name, ADATA. And let's see, where is let me find the properties on that sucker. So it's used space. Okay, so it's like capacity is like basically 900 and some odd gigabytes, which means that's about 1,000 gigabytes. And 1,000 gigabytes is how much is I forget.
Space.
Like it might be a 1T. You know what I mean? That's like, okay, 1 gigabyte. So how much data is 1 TB? So 1,000 gigabytes is, I think, 1 TB. 1,000 megabytes equals 1 gigabyte. You know what I mean? So 1,000 MB equals 1 GB. 1,000 GB equals 1 TB. That's a lot. That's a tetrabyte or something like that. Terabyte or whatever. And so, like, that's quite a lot. You know what I mean?
Mhm. That is a lot.
Quite a lot. Yeah. Like, back in our day, like, like, what was it? It'd be like, it's small for today, but I mean, it's big enough for us old people who don't need to have, I'm just saying, as an external drive, even if you had, and like, I bet you it only cost about $30 or something, Dianna. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I wasn't sure how much they cost. I heard they weren't that much anymore, though.
Yeah. USB connectivity, and off you go. You just there's people that have several external drives, so they may have all their music on one and all their pictures on another and all the, whatever, you know what I mean? And copies of
That's a good way to organize it.
And then if the worst, it's pretty, it's good. I'm not that organized myself. I just dump the whole contents of something into one and then sort it out another time, or not. And
as long as it's saved on there, if you need it, you could eventually find it.
That's right. That's exactly my thinking.
That's what I care about the most. I mean, it's nice if you can get it organized, but I don't know if I have that many photos to put it all on one external drive. I'm getting more and more all the time, but still, that sounds like they have just so much space. I don't know if it would serve me to get multiple ones.
No, for you, like, that's my point, though. It's like, for you, like, one would cover it, and then there you go, you know what I mean? Like, no matter what. And if you ever are traveling and you can't be having your computer with you, you bring your external hard drive with you, and then that way, if you're in a hotel somewhere or if you're in whatever, you have something, that you can work with, right?
That's true.
And you don't have to upload it to the new computer. You can just, like, open it from the external drive. You know what I mean? Plug it in, and then just leave it there. So you're not, like, you don't have to move it to your computer's hard drive and then work with it and then move it back.
Yeah, it sounds pretty handy.
I think it's pretty smart. Anyway, so what, have we got anything to talk about? Anything at all? Anybody got anything? Anybody?
Well, I was
Anybody
hoping
out there?
someone might want to talk about paranormal investigations, maybe some they want to do, or if they haven't done any, just different things they've heard about, a place maybe they'd like to go. Anybody?
You know better than that, Diana. With these people.
I mean, the most I got is the newest lead I got. There's supposedly the former owner of this little sandwich shop is haunting the place. He died of cancer last year, and supposedly he's been showing up and messing with stuff there. So I think, that'd be kind of fun. It'll be tasty investigation,
Yeah.
Depending on what they have.
I was thinking the other day out loud, like, I wonder if anywhere in the world exists a psychic, like somebody who just happens to be a psychic medium, but who has training as a coroner or medical. How come I can't think of the right name now?
Medical examiner.
Medical examiner. You know what I mean? Like, how cool would that be to be able to have Renee Richards' abilities to get names? You know what I mean? And then so you're doing an autopsy on some poor sucker, and you're just saying, okay, like, who killed you? Tell me who killed you.
That would be cool.
You know what I mean? Like that. How awesome would that be, right?
That would be awesome. Especially, I mean, if the killer wasn't good at leaving evidence behind, covered the trail that much, but yet the psychic still gets a name or something, and they could follow it up and just interrogate. God, that would be freaking them out.
Well, I mean, and that's the whole thing is that there's once you know who it is, then you can work backwards from there. You know what I mean? Instead of working forwards to the suspect, then you can try and pick it up. But we were talking the other day about this case that was like over 20 years cold case of this, serial rapist who morphed into a serial murderer. And he's an old man in a wheelchair now, and they caught the sucker by going on to like one of those free, not Me and 123 or whatever other ancestry DNA places there are, but there's like a free one that people can access. And
I didn't know that.
And there you don't have to send in your spit, so to speak. Like if you get your own DNA profile or whatever, you can just upload it to the site without having to mail your spit to them to do it all. And so anyway, the investigators, they had a DNA sample of the guy, and so they just go like, why don't we do this? You know what I mean? And so they start by finding like third cousins and then second cousins or whatever. Then they narrow it down to 5 possible, people that might be in around the same age and blah 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 demographic, And the first guy that they on the list, they just like followed the guy around in public till he disposed of something that would have his DNA. They did a DNA match on that, and bingo bango, they got your guy after all those years.
Oh my gosh, that's no fuss, no muss, super speedy.
Yeah. So how many, and they should use that now as a tool to go get some more old guys before they die,
Yeah, get some more cases solved.
And women, I'm sure that there's bad women out there too that have gotten away with murder all these years. And and so that was that's the whole thing. Once you give your DNA up, though, it's gone, right? Like, so you kind of lose control over it. But I don't think I mind, if somebody bad gets caught because I put my DNA in a system. That's their problem, not mine, right?
True.
Some relative of mine. My newest ethical question is if the police came knocking on your door and they said we got your DNA blah 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 of the ancestry.org or whatever the hell they're called, and we're in a case and blah blah blah, and our suspect is somebody who is distantly related to you. We know that by DNA comparison. Like, would you want to help them? The police?
I don't know. I probably would, but I've got a background of working in prosecution, so, I like to get those scumbags rounded up, if you can. I'd get mad, though, when some of the law enforcement officers would kind of drop the ball. They think it should be all done their way, but then you got to hand it off to the lawyers, and they've got to find some way to make it according to the law. You know what I mean? To really have a strong case, and if you don't have it, you don't have it. I think I might, especially since I don't know all that many of my relatives anyway, so they'd probably be looking for someone I've never heard of before, is my guess.
No, there's nothing new at all on that, Marie. Nothing new at all. Tamara Kingery. Let's Google it. Tamara Kingery. Well, there's Wikipedia on it. How do you like that? On the morning of September 20th, 2014, Tamara Kingery, a nurse in South Carolina, called her husband, Park Kingery, from work and asked him to take her home as she was not feeling that well. He did, and then went to run some errands afterwards with his two sons. When the two returned, when the three returned, the house was locked and Tammy was gone. A note inside the house, apparently left by Tammy, said she was going for a walk and would be back soon, but she never returned and has not been seen since. Well, see, there's another discrepancy, because then, remember the daughter? She, comes way months later and goes, me and my friend saw my mom on the back of somebody's motorcycle. And it's like, I'm so sure. I am convinced that daughter knows something or did it. And so anyhow, Tamara's family said it would have been unusual for her to leave a note or walk in the woods, Background: Kingery, a native of northwest Indiana, met her husband Park Kingery in the mid-1990s when the two worked together at a local drugstore. On September 20th, 1994, the two were engaged. After their marriage, the couple had 3 children, settled down in a house they built in a wooded area of Edgefield County, South Carolina, just north of Augusta, where Park Kingery had gotten a job as a welder. After finishing a degree in nursing in 2001, Tammy took a job as a nurse in the local branch of the NHC Healthcare Nursing Home, and she was working there until in September of 2014. Her marriage to Kingery was strained, while her father, who still lived in Indiana, says she's not aware of any marital or psychological issues his daughter may have had at the time. Her mother says the couple had grown distant from each other since their youngest son was born and had considered a divorce. Tammy had an ongoing struggle with depression for which she took medication, and it had led to extramarital affairs and attempts to take her own life. During the first weeks of September, Tammy seemed to be suffering psychically, physically. According to Park, she had to miss a few days' work, which was unlike her, as she often went to bed. Disappearance on the morning of September 20th, Search and investigation. Questions. The circumstance of Tammy's disappearance proved particularly puzzling to her family and friends. It was very much unlike her. They told reporters to go for walks in the woods. They told reporters to go for walks in the woods around the house, even on the roads, as the Kingery's neighborhood of houses on large lots was not pedestrian friendly. And when she did do something like that, she usually drove to town where better areas for walking existed. They also found it unusual that she left a note, as she almost always kept in touch with her family and friends and coworkers via text messages. The notes concluding, "Love you," also seemed to them more like something someone might say if they were expecting to be away for weeks rather than hours. It was speculated that it might not have been written by her, but several months after her disappearance, the State Law Enforcement Division confirmed that it was. But it could be an old one, right? It could be an older note that was just somewhere around. Another question turned out onto the house being locked when Kingery and his son returned. The house's main door could be locked only from the outside with the key, yet Tammy's keys, including the house key, were inside along with her purse, wallet, and phone, items that she might have been expected to take with her, blah, 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 blah. but it was locked and it wasn't locked. It was locked, so we don't really know that that's true. A few weeks after Tammy's disappearance, police officially stated that they believed there were suspicious circumstances in the case. Her family likewise believes that something unpleasant befell her. The question they and police have is, what was that? Unfortunately, she developed a depression and The husband, he's the guy I had as a guest on the show. He said Tammy would sometimes tell him she needed to get away. Now, as some of you guys might remember, so I found body found property where woman held missing boyfriend. What's this? Copy link location. Like there was some further investigation that I don't know if I call it.
Okay, remember that guy that it's not okay.
Yeah.
The guy that had the girlfriend chained, whatever. They found a body on that property, and I guess it's close to there. But that was in 2016, and I'm still looking at, and
she went missing in 2014.
Well, she went missing in She went missing in 2014. They found the body in 2016, but I don't know if they ever identified. I don't know if they ever identified that body.
So when's this story?
This is from 2000. This is from 2016. But if you put in, but his name pops up.
Yeah.
His name pops up, but it's really hard to tell. Like so much of this stuff is.
Yeah.
She keeps coming up as a possible victim of him because of the time and the location.
Right. Well, and the other thing that I noted was that, because I really spent a lot of time on that case myself, you know what I mean? And there was a time when there was a guy that was associated with some murders at a university. The name of the university is eluding me right now. And what happened is that this wacky guy, this morning, he goes into the police department and he behaves bizarrely, blah, 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 blah. And then he gets out of there at a high rate of reckless speed. He leaves the police department. And, then he was the guy that was found eventually a few days later or something like that on some beach in Texas. And he had murdered some university, student woman or whatever, and then possibly one other one. But when I map the place in Texas where the place where he started his escape, let's say, for lack of a better word to use, from the place that he started his escape to the Texas place, it's theoretically possible that he would have wound up on that road, on that country road that Tamara would be near Tamara Kingery's house. And so it would be a question of exactly what time did he leave there, and what rate of speed was he going? To me, in my wildest dreams, it seemed possible that could have been also another possibility. So, I would suggest probably though, Amy, right, that if they tested that body, then it's not Tamara, right?
I'm still, it's so hard to tell. There's so much fake news in with the,
But in every now and then I peek at Park Kingery's Facebook, you know what I'm saying? And then I even had some strange stuff, I had stranger guy contact me, telling me how innocent Park was and blah, blah, blah.
Weird.
I'm like, what? Yeah, like, why would this guy need to... And I'm like, oh, are you a buddy of his? No. Right? And so at that moment, I kind of thought that was Park himself.
Yeah.
Just under a different, computer identity or whatever, hey? And there was some really weird stuff that went on there. And it was true that, like, I remember that when Linda Crystal was on my show, she was really all very negative against anything like that he had said, like that she had been under depression, that she had been on depression medication, that she had cut herself before committing suicide. And even myself, I'm like, who cuts themselves, like, on the chest, or what was it, on the chest or something? And I followed up by conversation with Tamara's sister and found all those things were true. Right? And so when you find out that those things are true, then doesn't mean, again, for me, it always comes back to whether she got home or not after him bringing her home from work, right?
Right.
And I still think it's possible that they had a fight on the way home. Like, he went to her workplace to pick her up because she had to go home sick. It was a Saturday morning or some such thing like this, early in the morning, because she had an early morning shift. She had been at work at a couple of hours or something. It was maybe 8 a.m. or something like this. And he went to go pick her up. And I don't know that she ever made it home. And I asked the sister, I'm like, crap, like, if we knew how many, scrub sets, when you work in, like, medical, like that, your uniform for work, scrub sets. If you knew how many scrub sets that she had, then you count how many there are at home, you can tell whether or not she made it home or not, because she was killed in her scrubs, you know what I mean? There would be one less set of scrubs at home. But because he says they came home, she changed into, I don't know, black stretchies or something, and what, you know what I mean? Like, so theoretically, she changed out of her work uniform, and so then there would be no missing scrub outfit, right? But nobody knew how many scrub outfits that she had. That would have been a key to it all. And it's even possible that they had a fight on the way home, and she says, "Stop the car, I'm getting out." Right? And he does. And he stops the car and he lets her out, and he goes home, and now she doesn't show back up. This would account for him.
I'm reading something here from the Better Wiki that says that police search dogs were given her scrubs that she wore to her job that morning.
Well, they would be scrubs that he said she wore that morning, right?
Yeah.
I mean, but it doesn't matter what they were given. I never remember that that's what the police dogs used, though. And when I asked the sister, she didn't know. You know what I mean? Like, she didn't know if the scrubs that her sister were wearing that day at work were at home or not. You know what I mean? And in all of that aside, if they are on the way home, they have a fight. He lets her out the car on an old country road, right? And then he goes home and his wife now goes missing. Okay, this could account for his feeling of guilt for that. Because he had a questionable polygraph test. And then, of course, he could lie about that, because what kind of asshole is going to leave his sick wife out on a country road alone, right?
Yeah.
Right? And so his guilt could be wrapped around in that alone. Like, doesn't matter, like, but as I continue to recall, when I first heard this story and I heard about the teenage daughter, and the teenage daughter had not been home because the night before she slept at a friend's house. So I go, I want to know where that daughter was. Immediately was where I went with that. What about this daughter? And now, then later on in the story, like months and months later, or years, couple years later, suddenly on this TV show, this investigative show,
Investigation Discovery.
Yeah, the daughter is now telling police that her and her friend saw the mother on a motorcycle. No, that is so fishy. That is so fishy, you know? And so this is either a daughter that's trying to protect the father, or this is a daughter that's trying to throw the investigation off.
Well, did you ever see this thing here? You're actually even mentioned in this. It says, after initial searches, police decided to thoroughly investigate Park Kingery again. His account of his actions and whereabouts the morning Tammy disappeared was corroborated by both independent interviews with his son, cell phone pings, and security camera footage. He also took a lie detector test, which he told Tammy's mother made him nervous. After initially telling the Curious Times podcast, almost a year after Tammy's disappearance, that the police told him some of the results were questionable, he told Investigation Discovery Channel's Disappeared series in 2016 the police had asked him not to talk about it.
Yeah. He had a lot of inconsistencies too, but I still have, as a possible theory, I actually talked to the sister of the missing woman about this. So here's the scenario, if we believe the story of Park up till this point. So she goes to work that morning. She comes home sick. He brings her home. The two boys get up or whatever. He takes the two boys to the store to give her some peace and quiet. She's now home alone. The daughter returns from the sleepover, and there's some argument. Now, from what the sister told me, the mother's bedroom, seems to me that is upstairs, right by the stairs. So, anyhow, it's possible that there was some kind of an argument going on. And then, you know how it's like sometimes where, someone grabs someone and then they pull away, you know what I mean?
Right.
And one or the other person kind of, you know what I mean, falls. So it's possible that there was this kind of an interaction with the daughter. The mother falls down the stairs, breaks her neck or something, you know what I mean? Daughter freaks out, calls her friend to come back right away, loads the body up in the car, move over to one of the several bodies of water that's around, right? And all of that kind of thing. So that's possible in my mind. It didn't even have to be like a murder per se. Could have been an accidental thing, but that somebody freaks out and gets scared is very plausible to me. You know what I mean? But it seems so fishy to me that the daughter would then later tell that, she saw the mother her and her friend, when her and her friend were out driving around looking for the mother, looking for Tamara. They see Tamara on the back of somebody's motorcycle. Know what I mean? No, that, to me, that's highly fishy. So, there was a case that, man, oh man, I spent a lot of time thinking about, when we asked a lot of our psychic guests, what they thought.
Oh yeah, remember that big fight start like that girl? She got all, I can't even remember her name. She was one of my co-hosts on. Remember she got all
It's because
Jan,
Baker.
right, Baker.
She's
Jan,
because of her that I think Park even came on my show. Yeah. Anyway,
yeah, so weird.
You still with us, Dianna?
Yep.
All right. So this is now like almost 4 full years later since she's missing. What disturbed me the most is the police's refusal to just simply get some divers into these nearby bodies of water. You know what I mean? And
was the body that was discovered ever identified as her, or no?
Well, no. Otherwise, we would not. I would know that. You know what I mean? Like, so she's still, yeah, she's still totally missing, and I think dead. Dead. And so it would be so awesome to be able to, you know, get to the bottom of that. And I think that if like the daughter or the father, you know, had something to do with it, eventually these things, somebody gets drunk or they've already told somebody, and then there's a fight that happens between their confidant, and then all of a sudden someone goes and rats someone out. You know what I mean? Like a lot of times these years later do come out, and but I would love to have talked to the boys because the claim was is that they saw her before they went to the store. They saw their mother at home. I'm all like, or were they, you know how you can just lead somebody to believe something? You know what I mean? So you know what I mean? Like the father says to the boy, shh, your mom's upstairs sick, you know, from work, you know, let's go to the store, blah, 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 right? And now it's in the boys' mind that mom's home. You know what I mean? So now later if you ask them, was your mom home? Yeah. Right?
Yeah, and they believe it.
And then,
they have no reason not to.
Yeah. Right, and you're more susceptible to these other, you know, any other suggestions or whatever. So, I also asked, sister, like, too bad, like, about footwear. What footwear does she wear to work? And was her work footwear? Because definitely when you're a duty nurse, you know what I mean, or an LPN or whatever, the shoes that you wear to work are not the same shoes you wear to go out on a little hiking walk. You know what I mean? They're not the same. Right? Would you agree? Anybody? Hello?
I wouldn't wear the same shoes for that.
When you're a healthcare worker, you generally have duty shoes, you know what I mean? Or they're specifically for, you know what I mean, for that. And they wouldn't be the same ones that you wear for hiking, you know? So it would be interesting. Yeah, clean duty shoes. You wouldn't go hiking and then go into a hospital environment or whatever with your dirty hiking shoes. You know what I'm saying?
Socks would come into that too, because a lot of those nurses wear compression socks because they're on their feet all the time.
Yeah. So I don't know. You know what I mean? Oh, Corrine, where did you rent? Corrine just rents a house. You know, she goes, okay, here, I already rented it. Now who's going to come and stay with me? Copy link location. So she did that, like, I think in Arizona or something like that. And then a bunch of them got together. And where's this one at? Fletcher, North Carolina. Is this somewhere near the murder scene? Corrine? Or I shouldn't say murder scene, but I mean somewhere near the.
I don't know. It might be. Actually.
You guys should go and. You should go investigate and take your spidey senses with you.
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah!
I'm like, yeah. Can you hear me?
Otherwise, I'm highly psychic. Otherwise, I'm highly psychic because I'm talking with you and I can't hear you, and so I must.
Well, I've often talked to no one and gotten good answers, but anyway, yeah. So, where did he live? He lived in South Carolina, right?
Well, it was like here. It was like South Carolina, but it was like Edgefield County, South Carolina, just north of North Augusta. Just north of North Augusta. I remember I had all the maps to the area. I have every body of water. I went onto Google Earth and I mapped and I followed the path in this place where she would have went walking. And like, holy crap! Like I remember spending so much time on that.
Mhm. No kidding, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Unfortunately, in some of those little bodies of water or whatever, there'd be like crocs or alligators or whatever it is that's in that area. So there's a chance, of. But I remember also finding out from the sister that in the nearby area there was like a shack, like an old shack, and inside this old shack was like this garbage bag, and inside this garbage bag was like this dog dish and gloves and something else, and like the police refused, and like the smell of death or a dead dog, and and the police refused to like test anything out of there. You know what I mean? And it's like, hey, test the gloves, like do something. At least you could rule that out, And
yeah, no kidding. It seems weird that they wouldn't be testing that,
Mhm.
But then again, I think we determined a long time ago that the Keystone Cops took care of that case.
Yeah, it wasn't. It was botched right from the beginning. Because they treated it like a missing. They treated it like a missing, like I don't believe that they did like lock down the scene. You know what I mean? Like take the cadaver dog inside the house, take the cadaver, all of that kind of stuff. In fact, I don't believe it was a cadaver dog at all. At first, and they were going on the basis that that she went that her note was legit and all of that.
Right.
And,
Now I wanted to ask Diane. Okay, go ahead, Chris. Sorry. I'm on delay.
Go ahead.
On delay.
No, go ahead.
I was going to ask Diane, what? On delay. Dianna, what experience have you had with murders, either talking to spirit about murders or any investigations you might have done with murders that involve murders?
I don't think I've helped any law enforcement agencies yet. It's just been more a few clients here and there that would suspect certain things. And like any reading, it's always different. You've always usually got someone that's wanting to talk, but, you get a little description from the spirit for the person who's wanting to know, and a lot of times it wasn't the person that they were looking for. It was someone else that wanted to get a message through. But
Right.
that's something I'd like to do more of, because I know back when I was still watching television, there were a couple area homicides, and I wasn't even asking psychically. I'd first hear about it, and I'd just see the stuff, and I'd see, like, where the dead child was or whatever. And I didn't call the police, though, because I thought, where's this coming from? Because, again, I didn't ask about it. It was just something that came to me. And then later I would hear that they would find the body exactly in the place where I saw it. And I didn't have, like, an exact location. I just had, like, it was kind of in a dumpster in a dump area type thing.
Right.
But
right.
I didn't know, what part of town or which county it was in.
Right. Yeah. Now, you're probably not familiar with the woman that did this case with Chris on air that we're talking about, Linda Crystal. She was a forensic astrologer and really got details from the talent of astrology and other things as well, but she really got details, like, down to what the person was wearing when they were murdered or went missing. Mm-hmm. And it was pretty amazing what she came up with. Very, very interesting, I mean, I can't say I agreed with all of Linda's politics because I didn't, but
I also think that she was off on a lot of the stuff to do with this particular case as well. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If this person talked to the police at all without any of that information?
Which person?
Sorry, Chris. The person that we were just talking about, the person who got a lot of details about cases like this?
Over the years. Well, over the years, you know what I mean? She was, I think that she had at times worked with law enforcement or whatever, but she would let the family, when it was appropriate or whatever, like she would let the family know, or somebody would inform the family that Linda had profiled the case or something that their family member was involved in and blah, blah, blah. But she was, she was calling BS on a lot of the stuff that in this case, on a lot of the stuff that I verified right through her own sister, like right through the missing person's sister. And, so I think that sometimes what happens is that you start using your own biased opinions on things, you know what I mean? Rather than relying on just purely the psychic or I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that, but I'm just saying, like, sometimes that can interfere with things, and now somebody's thinking that you're getting all of that from your psychicness when perhaps it's not as pure as that being just your psychicness, you know what I mean?
No. And I would say in that case with Linda, it was the case of ego taking over a lot of times when it shouldn't have. But we still love her and miss her. And, yeah.
No, she's she's deceased now, but like she made the biggest deal out of the fact that the clip from our show wound up on that documentary, and like I was like all like no big deal, but I'm like you would think that they should have had to at least ask or let me know as the host and the owner of the radio station, right?
Is it not?
Hey, no, and they don't have to, because legit, if you're only taking a small percentage of a piece of work and it's for, educational or whatever, like that, it's fair use. It falls under the fair use guidelines.
Most people like to clear that stuff, though, and just ask, because usually people will give permission. It's just easier,
Yeah, no, I get it. And, so I was surprised, but she went on and on and on about how, and like it's wrong. And it's like, now it wasn't even her show. Like she was a guest on my show that night to do with this case. And I'm not taking that away from from her, but it's like she was acting worse than the owner of the show was for that. You know what I mean? But I think she was pissed off because it mentioned that this clip was from Curious Times podcast. Didn't mention Linda Crystal's name. I think that was the beef that she had. I can't remember.
Right.
But I think
it was. I remember, Chris. That's what it was.
Yeah. So, no big deal.
But,
now I'm glad to know that there's Amy or whoever found the article that references Curious Times podcast. Like, she would be upset about that too. You know what I mean? That's funny.
I just want to ask Diane another question, please. So Diane, we've probably talked about this before, and forgive me if I'm repeating my question to you, but kind of how do you get into the zone of getting information? We all do it in different ways. I'm just curious, how do you get into that zone? I mean, are you always in it, or do you have to kind of ease yourself into it when you're going to an investigation? I kind of just like to surround myself with light and, I'll say some prayers and that. How do you do it?
Well, I'm usually kind of always in that zone, but I like to put some extra psychic protection up around me before I do something like that. But yeah, otherwise, I'm usually just there, because when I was young, I had to ask to have some of it turned down because it was just too much. But now, if I really want to focus on one particular person or incident, a case, again, extra protection, and then sometimes I just take a few deep breaths, and I just focus on clearing my mind of all of the distractions and just everything else I have on my calendar that day, and just any little thing. I just kind of shift everything off to one side that's going to be coming up in my day, and I just say, okay, now I just want to focus exclusively on whatever it is, if it's finding the person or if it's figuring out what really happened in the situation. And I usually just kind of leave it open to see what comes through. And sometimes I'm getting way too many messages, or they're so visual, they're not really, I can't put them into any sense with the situation. And so then that's when I'll start asking the questions to narrow it down a little bit. But I usually I like to leave it open to try and not go off on any tangent or something, because, we'll kind of have our own opinion or do our own research, before usually on something. And so you kind of think where it might be going, and I try to keep it as clear as possible so that I can just get whatever impressions come in, no matter how weird. I'll record it in some way, and I don't do any type of explanation. I just write down immediately what was coming in through that initial period when I'm really just trying to get all the information I can. And then when I feel like everything has kind of come through, then I'll kind of take a couple deep breaths again and say, okay, now let's kind of shift from that and focus a little more on what we got here, and then I'll kind of look at it. But again, I'm not really trying to put much analysis in it yet. It's kind of more telling me what now, what should we ask based upon just what we're seeing here, not making any sense of it, not even trying to yet. What do we need to ask next for the highest good of getting the information we want to get.
Right. Yeah, that sounds great. So interesting, So I'm not trying to give you a reading right now. I just want to ask you one question about this. What does cinnamon have to do with you? Anything? Cinnamon?
What does what?
Cinnamon?
Cinnamon? I've been really drawn to that lately.
Okay.
And I'm not sure why, if it's the smell of it or the taste of it, but for some reason I've been attracted more to cinnamon than what I normally am.
Okay. Well, maybe there's something to that, Dianna. Sorry.
Maybe that's what?
Maybe there's some. I said maybe there's something to that then,
There could be. I haven't found anything yet, but sometimes on things like that, I try and kind of give it a little space and say, well, if that really does mean something, let it come through. I'm open to that. Otherwise, let's don't get too wound up about it.
I think that, well, if you looked, I'm sure you've looked up the properties of cinnamon. And there's a lot, like Diane Brighton says, cinnamon lowers blood sugar. It has a lot of good properties to it to help us physically. So, you probably I'm echoing. You probably looked those already up already. So, I don't know. I just get the feeling, Diana, that I see, when I see, your energy, it's like this zigzag, you're not quite sure where you are and where you want to go. I mean, I think you know where you want to go, but it's just I feel like, and I'm not trying to, like I said, I'm not trying to read you, but obviously that's what I'm doing right now. But I mean.
Hey, works for me. Help yourself.
I feel like, you are, you're uncertain about a lot, this back and forth, but you don't, it's almost there's a part of you that wants to move on, but you feel like you can't. And it's I'm not going to say you're afraid, but there's definitely some apprehension about you moving on to other things that I think would be better for you. Oh God, I don't know. I don't know. I can't tell you what's going to be better for you, but I do believe that you got to stick to the faith part of yourself that, yes, I can do better than this, and I'm going to do better than this, man. You know what I mean? Does that make any sense?
Yeah, it makes perfect sense because the picture that was coming to me when you were talking, the way I kind of see it is I kind of feel like I'm at that T in the road, and it's like, well, okay, which way do I go now,
Right.
Yeah, just lots of questions left in terms of moving in a direction I want. I think I have more questions now, which you might be picking up on, things that might be better for me, because I'm sure there are some things I could do that would be, better for my health or better for, other clients doing something else or both potentially or something else. But I guess I just kind of feel like sometimes I don't really know what those possibilities could be, because I know our possibilities are endless. We're limited only by our own imagination.
Right.
And I guess maybe you might see that I don't say I'm deliberately limiting it, but there are some days when I just think, well, okay, you tried this, that, and the other thing, and various things, you try different things and you don't like it, or you try different things, it's not what you thought. But, now I'm thinking, hey, what's left and what would be fun,
Yeah.
But I'm still at that T, so you are accurate when you're seeing that zigzag.
Yeah. So it's because what a really bad day would be for any one of us to wake up and say, nothing can excite me today. No thought, no possibility is really gonna, I don't think gonna bring me happiness. And that's a terrible day.
I hear you. I hear you. I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah, I've experienced some of those lately.
Yeah, and it's we don't, there's got to be something, Diana, that is going to excite you, and I know there is. I'm not trying to tell you how to live your life, but perhaps really think about doing some of those things that, have that tinge, even a tinge of excitement for you. This joyful thing you can think about doing if you had no limitations. You know what I mean? So anyways, I just wanted to say that. But yeah, I don't know why that cinnamon came to me. So it's got to have something to do with your health, perhaps, you know?
Yeah, I've been working on that, and I think that might have just kind of slowed the process down a little bit because I had to pay a little more attention to that than what I normally have in recent years.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that could be at least a part of it. And, of course, if you've got anything going on with your health, it touches other aspects of your life, too.
Oh, yeah, for sure, for sure. So check out the properties of cinnamon and see what it has to offer you personally, you know?
I will do that. Thank you so much, Corinne. I appreciate that.
Oh, yeah, sure, sure. Okay, so you guys keep talking. I'm just going to go, I'm going to mute myself for just a minute here. But thank you, Dianna.
Oh, you bet.
Calling you Dianna.
Come back and join
Dianna.
I go by both.
I will. Okay, good.
Chris, are you still there? Hello?
No wonder I'm like, nobody's listening to me again. It's because I was muted.
Did I get cut off?
No. I was trying to say over and over and earlier, I used cinnamon today, so that was interesting that she brought cinnamon up today.
Interesting.
And I enjoy cinnamon a lot. I like to use cinnamon. And so,
smells wonderful, doesn't it?
Yeah, I love it. Every now and then, like, I will put, like, when I'm making my own homemade curry powder, I put just a little hint of cinnamon in as well. And it makes it a little bit unique. Very, very oh, Donald Black Fox, how the heck are you doing there, mister? And so, listen, why don't we take a song break? We didn't have a song break, and so let's do that, and then we'll see if anyone else wants to call in and have anything to say or what we should talk about next, okay?
Sounds good.
All right. Let's see. What will we play?
Do you have any April wine?
Oh, yeah. Sure.
I love them.
Okay.
Thank you.
Easy. Coming right up. April wine. All right, let's go with... I think I just played one yesterday too, but let's go with this one.
You can never have too much.
find out what's got going on here. Hello, Amy's here, and Corinne, of course. Diana's our guest. Christy is in the chat room. Hi, Dan, and Diane, and Donald. How are you? The D's have it today. The D's have it. And Marie and Michael, and again, Corinne. Just to quickly say, tomorrow we have Melissa Bruce, the heavy metal psychic, and Wednesday Kathleen is here, and then we're off for 4 days. Leah Dawn is here a week from tomorrow, a week from today, Leah Dawn. And so, Leah Dawn, what's that flower you got on? Donald's ears are now bleeding. And so can we get a medic over there to Donald the Black Fox, please? And so anyway, okay, let's go get Diana. How's it going? Whoops. There you are. Corinne, are you back?
Playing my band.
No problem. Corinne, are you back or what? I muted you, so if you are back, unmute your darn self. So I asked a question the other day. I was on Corinne's show. Okay, whoever just pushed one. Corinne, is that you? Here, let me help you. Is that you?
Yeah, it's me.
So I was at Corinne's show last week or whatever, Thursday, or I don't know what day. Thursday, I think. And so I asked the question, like, if you could look at, now, of course, you're a past life regression specialist, and we talked before about, well, alternate lives versus past and future lives. But the question was, I should have articulated it better, but if you could visit a past life or a future life, which one would you choose? Diana.
Gosh. You know, I'm hoping so much that there are no future ones that I'd probably have to stick with the past just to keep that hope alive. You know what I'm saying?
What did you say? Which one?
I think the past.
Why do you not want any future life?
Just because of the different things I've kind of woke up to that's going on, even though we're told other things. It's just more than I want to deal with. I'm ready to be done with this game.
With life in general, past, present, or future?
No, just kind of this little part of the universe.
Oh yeah, well, I mean, but that's the beauty. Is like if you go to a future, who knows where you'll be, right?
True. It might be interesting, but I've received a lot of insights just from looking at the past and seeing patterns and thinking, okay, we got to knock this off, you know?
Well, and see, the beautiful thing for you is since you can do that, the natural choice would be the future because you can already do the past anytime you want to, right?
Well, you never know what's going to come up. You might go into it thinking you're going to look at a past life and be pleasantly or unpleasantly surprised. You might be seeing something completely different, way from the future. I've had that happen before.
Yeah, I would not have interest at all in seeing a past life at all. It doesn't matter. Yeah, what use could there be? I'm not of the mindset at all that like, if I found out that I got abandoned in a past life, is the whole explanation of why I feel or do such and such in this life. Like I'm not in that school. I don't buy that at all. And the past is the past, and there's nothing that can be done about it. I would like to look forward to what's to look forward to. You know what I mean? Or how about if you could look at a past life or jump to the future in your current life, what one would you do? I would jump to the future in my current life. Have a peek at the future of my current life.
I don't know if I'd like to do that or not, because if there's something you really want to change, I would be concerned of, but do I already have it now? Did my subconscious adopt what I saw as, that's going to happen and you can't change it? you know.
Yeah.
And we want to give ourselves the best options, you know, so that we live the best life we can. I don't know. That'd be a tough one.
I still feel like for me that everything that happens is kind of what's planned to happen. So if I can have a day, if I can look at a future of this life, I already had factored that in. You know what I mean? I already knew that before I came. Like before we come to our life, we already know what our life, we knew what we were coming into, you guys, you know, theoretically, right? We knew what we were getting into. That's why we should all, no matter where we are in this world, what kind of person we are, how successful or unsuccessful we feel we've been or that we have been, we should pat ourselves on the back because we had the courage to come here at such a ridiculously crazy effing time.
That it is.
You know what I mean? That's courageous. We knew what we were coming for. We knew. And we came anyway. And so I think that we all deserve, rewards, an award and a reward for that. But they can tell you who was in your past. Oh, get a reading from Shelby or Renee. Now.
No,
I wouldn't
I've
go
been
to either of
told.
them.
No, but I mean, I'm saying, if you wanted to know who was in your past life.
Let me finish. I would not go to any of them for a past life reading at all. Period. Not to either of those two. I would much rather have mediumship with those two.
But that involves your past, though, Chris. That involves your past.
No, it involves my past here. My dead people are.
Yeah.
What I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
I'm not talking.
But I'm saying if.
Yeah. You're not talking about past life, then. You know what I mean?
I'm saying
I don't
that.
care. I don't care who was in my past life. I don't care. It doesn't matter to this life. It doesn't matter. It doesn't affect anything.
Right. Right.
It's Swiss information for me.
Right.
Swiss. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm just saying that in the course of a reading with either one of those girls, you know, past lives have come up, and you know, and people that I know now that were in my past life. So it you know, it kind of encapsulates all of that, and you can't help it getting a mediumship reading that something's going to come up like that, you know. So.
Yeah.
When I got my last reading from Renee, you know, those people, those ancestors that I was obsessed with, she told me that I was some of those people. So that was interesting. That was fast. I mean,
Yeah.
It was like I was those people. And then, you know, this is my father, like, who adopted me's ancestors. So they're not my blood relatives, but I came back and got inserted back into their family dynamics. Again, you know, it's fascinating. Absolutely fascinating. I'm sorry. Like, you know, you feel like, when you're adopted, you know, you don't have any roots, and you know, whatever. But it was so helpful to me because we always have roots. So, you know, I always kind of felt like, I didn't belong. And then I had these like kind of nonsense issues with my cousins. And I always kind of felt like less than because I was adopted and they weren't. But it was like, no, I had to come and like save your sorry asses. So.
Right.
So, it's just, there's just so much more, you know, like that's what I would have thought too, like what Chris said, like, it doesn't matter because they're not in my life now. But this whole great big thing, like, why was I suddenly so curious about you know, it just explained a lot. And now I have to get a forensic medium. I've just been too busy to even eat, let alone get a mediumship reading. But anyway, the end.
Did she say who your brother was, Amy? Did she say anything about your brother, like who he was to you, or?
No, we didn't get into that because remember, it was only a half hour, because it was that free reading that I had gotten, and there was so much to cover that, we did. Excuse me, but there's always a reason, nothing is happenstance. Nothing is, nothing is happenstance, and nothing, that's the one thing that I'm starting to more and more realize, that every single thing is, that we are in the exact place, we're in the exact right place at the exact right time.
For a purpose or a meaning or a reason?
For part of a bigger thing, for part of something bigger.
Yeah.
For part of something bigger.
Yeah.
But, but that's kind of hard to, for some of the horrible things that happen, that's kind of a tough, you got to be careful who and how you say that. Oh yeah, you were in the exact right place when your father raped you. Some of the stuff, it just doesn't, it doesn't translate.
No, I know, right?
That's how I used to feel about it too many years ago, but I feel entirely different now about it. And without one thing happening, the next thing doesn't happen, the next thing doesn't happen. And so for me, like so much of my stuff, it's very clear to follow the sequence up.
But you had to get there on your own. You didn't get there by someone saying, "Oh, everything happens for a reason."
No, but I mean, and that's how come, like, in hindsight, I go, yeah, like that, like, 10 years ago, I might have said, are you effing, like, 15 years ago, I would have said, are you effing crazy? You know what I mean? But now, like, and everything is so sequential for me to clearly see, you know what I mean? And, like, now it's possible that something else might have made me leave home at the age of 16, you know what I mean? But I doubt it. Usually if you're a pretty happy kid and you're getting your way paid, everything's good, then you're going to stay at home and you're going to, keep getting your laundry done and keep getting fed for free and all that, right? You're not going to leave home at 16 and start having to pay rent and all that kind of stuff, And everything at home is all story.
Yeah, speaking of, so this girl's on The Voice, and she's from my hometown. Her name's, Bryn, oh my god, what the fuck's her last name? Sorry, I'm swearing. Shit. Anyway, she's on The Voice, okay, and she's like, in the last whatever of it, right? So, Cartelli. Now, her mother and father, her father owns Fathers and Sons car place, which is like foreign vehicles, very high end. In other words, she's wicked rich, okay? So the local news keeps putting on, oh, Bryn Cartelli is, don't forget to watch Bryn tonight on The Voice, and, and I'm like, really, so, this goes back to my dislike of people with frickin' money. And, so this girl's loaded, right? How do you think she got there? It's because she had a lot of freaking money. And the local news is like, oh yeah, women. We're like, oh yeah. And so they're interviewing kids from the high school today on the news, and the kids are like, yeah, we come from a small town, and not many people make it from here. Get the F out of here, bitch. You know what I mean? So, anyways, I just, that irked the crap out of me today when I saw that. It was just like, oh my God, really? Really? So, I think if you have money when you're young, you always have an advantage. Don't tell me you don't have an advantage. Do you guys agree with me?
I agree with you.
Yeah.
Did you have money when you were young, Corrine?
Not at all, Amy. Not at all. Not at all.
Oh.
I wore the same freaking clothes and shoes. My father couldn't afford much. I don't even know why we were in that town. It's a very rich town, but I didn't have money. No. We never had a lot of money. Well, wait a minute. There was like a 3-year period where my father had money, but that was about it. You know what I mean? The rest of the time it was, you get your own freaking car, you do whatever. You know what I mean? So, I don't know. It just irks me because it's like those kids have such a huge advantage. What, did you have money, Amy?
I can't quite decide if we did or didn't. I didn't think we did, but maybe now I think we did. But now, of course, we don't. We did have we definitely have a financial curse on us, caused by my mother. But, like, we lived in a really rich town, but I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't even know how to answer that question. But we don't have any now. I mean, well, I don't know. I do. We have a financial curse, so it doesn't matter how much money we have or don't have.
Right.
I've kind of broken the curse, but my mom has a financial curse on it, so it's caused us a lot of problems.
Yeah.
And now it causes me problems.
So it's
Her
your
problems
mother's
are my problems.
Right. I mean, when I was growing up in the rich town, it was like you had to be wearing Izod shirts, and you had to have, at the time it was Adidas sneakers, and I didn't have any of that stuff, but I didn't want to. Like my older sister always wanted to, and she probably had those things. And I was just like, I don't want to be like I didn't care if I was like these people. So I kind of dressed like a hippie, even though I was 12 years out of date from Woodstock or whatever. But, but I mean, I'm glad that I really wanted to do my own thing from when I was very young. You know what I mean? Like I would never want to be following people and wanting to wear the latest names on your clothes and, go to Florida
I would love to see you with your collar popped.
With my what?
With your collar popped, like you wear the Izod shirts with the collar up.
Never happened. Never will. Were you preppy in school, Amy?
No, because we didn't have preppy. I graduated from high school in 1975, so it was like hippie.
Okay.
It was hippie. We would wear, but there were certainly specific labels. We would wear fry boots and, like these gauze shirts. And then there was definitely specific labels even for the hippie clothes.
Right. I loved wearing hippie clothes. But I mean, it was way out of date when I was wearing them. You know what I mean?
No, this was like right, because you're right. You were in the prep age. They didn't invent prep until I graduated from college.
Mhm. Right. Now, my friend Lisa, who's 67 or something, she's like, I go, were you with the preppies or whatever? She goes, Corinne, I had greasers and hippies. I'm like, she goes, and the greasers were like dangerous. So I just like stuck with the hippies or whatever. It was funny though. You know what I mean?
Right.
But yeah, I mean, you know, and we were talking about college today. I was talking about college with some people, and the mothers of these kids that are going to college were so proud that their sons were going to college. And I said, yeah, that's great, you know. Really, you know, I never went to college. I never went to, I didn't even finish high school, you know. And so I was saying that, you know, it's great. Well, nowadays you probably need a degree to get any kind of decent job. But back when I was not graduating, you really didn't, you know, whatever. Anyways, I said, I've never had degrees. I never had a high school diploma, but I had to live by my wits. And I suppose we all live by our wits, but, you know, there's so much that we do not learn in traditional structural learning facilities that we need to know. And I went that avenue. I just read everything I could read and, you know, kind of taught myself, you know what I mean? So I don't know you know, I mean, Amy, your kids probably went to colleges, right?
Yeah, but my son didn't finish. My son did not finish. And then my daughter went to law school, but they went to you know, they went to private college, like expensive private college that even though I couldn't afford it, I figured out a way to pay for it because I thought the most important thing was to just get them so that their peers were rich. And it worked. So I don't know.
Right. No, if I had children, I might have done the same thing, you know?
I mean, it definitely helps, you know, having friends with a lot of money is not a disadvantage.
No.
It's not the end all be all, but it's not, for both of my kids, it worked out very well.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. I mean, and I decided, now, did you go to college, Amy?
Yes.
Okay, where'd you go?
The same place my kids went, Jacksonville University.
Okay. Did you like being taught the traditional stuff? Because I can't stand being told what to learn and what to do.
I just went to college for the socialization. I didn't go for school. I didn't go to learn anything. I just went to go find cute boys that surfed. And I did.
Right.
And it helped that they were rich and most of their parents had beach houses, and I've had a very good life because of all of that.
Right. Yeah.
But still a bunch of shitty stuff happened. It didn't prevent the shitty stuff from happening. It's just that when the good stuff happened, it was good.
Right. Dianna, where did you go to school?
University of Nebraska and Creighton University.
So do you think that your college degree or whatever you learned there has helped you in life?
It's helped me in odd ways. It's helped me in ways I didn't think it would. I've had a lot of people say, like when I would move, how tough it would be to market my degree because I didn't have it from what they felt was the right school. But like I said, it's helped me in a lot of other ways where I needed to develop more logic, and so I'm still glad I did it.
Right, right.
And it was, I had my own practice for a while, and it was very interesting, because you just see things that not everybody sees anyway. And I'd been kind of shutting off some of the psychic stuff then, so that kind of helped open that up a little bit too, I think.
Right. Yeah, it's interesting. It's like what we, I do believe that we are what we learn. But I was saying to the gals I was talking to earlier about college and school that we can teach ourselves anything at all right now. We have that ability to teach ourselves anything,
Well, we always could. We don't need computers just for that, because a lot of people have always trained themselves.
Like my son, he's more like you. Like my son he dropped out of high school, but then I got him into, I call it sleepaway college. But then he got his girlfriend pregnant. And then he doesn't have a degree, and I don't think he's ever going to get one. And he's a programmer.
But he's okay doing what he's doing. He knows what he's doing, right?
Yeah, he knows what he's doing, and he's climbing up I think maybe, I just don't think it's that important anymore. I think I think they finally figured out that college was, that college was exactly what I described it as being. It was just a little, definitely, that people just didn't learn that much in college, that they just went and drank. So.
Right. Yeah.
I don't think it's as important, and I've even heard some people prefer to hire people without degrees because they're not so uppity.
Right. Yeah. I mean, and I just want to mention quickly that even in the writing world, if you have an MFA, which is a Master of Fine Arts, and you learn to write a certain way, kind of much like if you're going to learn mediumship or psychic stuff, right? You're learning in the structure of the teacher, and it kind of limits you. And that's why, Amy, you always told me, just do it yourself, get your own messages in your own way. And that's kind of the same thing with writing, because if you learn to write in a certain way, it comes out and I know when someone has gotten an MFA when I'm reading the stuff most of the time, because it's freaking boring and it doesn't have any life to it, because it's so concerned with being proper to the way that they were taught. And that's where the life goes out of writing. You know what I mean? So anyways, it's interesting, but I don't know,
That's when I knew an MFA wasn't for me, when I took a couple grad classes and I read a couple of the books, and like you said, they're just boring. And I didn't want to unlearn what I did know already about storytelling,
Right. You didn't need that.
No. I mean, I've read a couple of the books that were maybe a little interesting, but they just move so slowly. I could hardly stand it.
Yeah. It's I don't mind someone teaching me something, but it's like I said, I can I can get books and try to teach myself the things. And I know we have to kind of bounce this off of someone that says, well, what did you learn? I understand that. But, I don't know. I just think it's a lot more enjoyable when you are learning on your own and perhaps, sharing it, maybe reading the same books with a friend or something, and you're exchanging ideas about the book and thoughts and everything. I don't know. But yeah, there's so much to learn.
Yeah, there is so much to learn. And that, I think, is the thing of, to be the purpose of college is to teach you to learn, not to be like the end all be all.
Well, I mean, I think that college and theoretically you should be learning to think. You know what I mean?
Right.
Learning to think, critical thinking and all that kind of thing. By then, everybody's old enough to and the information now is just out there. You can learn anything you want to learn. You know what I mean? But I think that there's a thing to, helping you to problem solve and I think that we see the difference between, there's people that can do well academically and they suck at life. You know what I mean? I think your best people are the people that can do well in school, but also they have the life skills of being able to apply all of their knowledge to real life situations. You know?
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
Right.
But that's what's so infuriating to me. What I mean, right now in my current situation, all these jobs continue to require freaking degrees. You can't even get in the door for somebody to look at your freaking resume or talk to you if you don't have the degree. I'm like, oh my God, what? And I worked with some of the dumbest people I ever worked with, had degrees.
No kidding. No kidding. Yeah.
Stupid people.
Yeah, there's a lot of, and I'm not trying to be mean when I say this, but there's a lot of dumb people in the United States who are in higher positions. They're freaking stupid. A lot of them. Not all of them, but a lot of them, Yeah. That's what sucks about, it's back in the day, and I'm talking about the 60s and 70s and even 80s, you could get a job because you had that, knowledge. You could do the job well. You could speak. You could, and now none of those people get a chance, and it's a shame. It's a shame. And this all ties into the dumbing down of America, really, Oh my God. Anyways, whatever. Sorry.
Some of the degree people, there's an arrogance that they have because they have this degree. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot of you notice, they float from, what they do is their degree gets them in the door, and then they float for as long as they can, doing nothing. You know what I mean?
Right.
And that before it becomes clear that they're going to get fired, so then they quit or something. You know what I mean? So that they don't have a termination on their record, but they're ineffective in the job. They don't help the team in any way, shape, or form when they get there, and they're just really floating from job to job, cashing in on their degree, and meanwhile, good hard workers. You know what I mean? Sometimes I find that people that don't have the educational degree or whatever, they might, even though they shouldn't have to, it's almost like that they used to say about women, have to work twice as hard to, you know what I mean, to of a man, just, and so that's sort of the same as as non-degree, holders or whatever. It's like there is a feeling in them that they have to continue to prove themselves, and so they wind up now this, no one thing ever. There's plenty of hard workers that have degrees also. Don't get me wrong. I'm not bashing away on every. The no one rule applies always to every situation, but I think a lot of times like that what happens is that the people they wind up that have no people like me. For myself, like I worked my ass off because I was in jobs that normally would require degrees. So I always felt like I was having to prove myself, you know what I mean? On a continual basis. Whereas the people that I worked with that had degrees, they didn't have to, they only had to prove at their interview that they had a degree. And back there wasn't even a lot of there's a lot of people that lie about degrees they have and they don't have. And nobody really was doing proper checking, you know what I mean? The proper validating. And so a lot of times we're getting the jobs on that basis and it wasn't a qualification that they actually did possess. So it continues to frustrate me. I'm really sad in a way because like the oil price is starting to go up and that's usually good for my province, but now if Trump is going to pull out of the Iran thing, that might send the price of oil plummeting again. And it could cause some effect on that. And so just at a time when because if my province goes boom, then like if we boom, then that really means that if you have a pulse, you can get the job. You know what I mean? It becomes a worker's market. And once I have in a door somewhere, then I'm good. I have no problem like keeping the job. Well, other than if it's taking pictures of cars, I have no problem keeping the job. But I was doing the job very well, but I couldn't contain myself with this person I was stuck working with. But if I got a meaningful job, I would totally be able to regulate my reaction to a similar situation. For a $15 an hour crap job taking pictures of cars, I'm not going to continue to be in the situation that I was with that chick at that last job, right? I'm not for $15 an hour. I'm not, No. And so, but like get me a job that pays me $40K a year, even, and that's not much. But then I'll put up with a lot more. $40K plus benefits, I'll put up with a lot of crap. You know what I mean?
Right.
And
So when you're applying for jobs, Chris, and they're saying that you need a degree, do you apply anyways, or?
No, not anymore, because they're all using. If it's an online submission of your resume, there's no point. Because what happens is that they have computer program that weeds through all the resumes, and a human being only sees a resume that contains all of the requirements. Know what I mean? So you get deleted.
Yeah.
Before human eyes ever see your resume. And that's my beef with the new system of these online computer tools that are being used. And I'm not comfortable in any way, shape, or form lying or misrepresenting something just to get in the door because the last thing I want to have to do at an interview is first thing out of my mouth say, oh, that's a lie, by the way. I only said that so I could get in front of you and talk to you. Know what I mean? It's not a good way to start off, like you're already number one thing is a lie, And so it's frustrating. But like
what about construction?
Well, you have to keep in mind I can't even do dishes for 10 minutes without being in excruciating pain, right?
Okay, right.
So I mean, Otherwise,
Yeah.
I would have been working years ago, because my whole MO in my younger life was take the shittiest, crappiest job in the place and then work up. You know what I mean? Get the foot in the
Right.
door and then work. But I can't take those physical jobs anymore. I can't do it. And even at, letter carriers and things like this, which would be good paying job, they require you to pass a medical before you can get hired.
So would you consider being on disability?
I can't be on disability.
How come?
Well, for two reasons. Number one, I found out that you have to have income in the past 2 years or something, in the most recent 2 years to qualify. So I don't qualify. And secondly, to be pre-retirement disability, you have to be disabled from all forms of employment. And clearly I'm not disabled from all forms of employment.
Okay.
So that's, two challenges right there. If I qualified, I might be willing to go even for a psych disability. You know what I mean? I'm as fucked up as anybody. You know what I'm saying? And there's things I could use. Like I could go, like even the last job, I was yelling and screaming like a crazy person because I couldn't handle, it's a post-traumatic stress response. You know what I mean? And this is the kind of a thing that's going to affect your ability to remain employed. You know what I mean? But no, I don't even qualify. Like, I need to get a job that will be irregular, not like a cash job. Like, it has to be a proper employer that takes deductions and takes unemployment insurance deductions and takes pension deductions and all of that for anything to qualify. And then once I can do that and earn and keep a job for a couple of years, then I qualify for disability. Should anything go wrong at that point, But I don't qualify. See, if I was going to go for that, I should have went for it when I left my last job. But me, I'm all like, I'm going to take a year off. I won't have any problem getting a job, and I got lots of money in the bank. It was almost 10 years later now. You know what I mean? It's almost 10 years later now. Like
right, but I still think if you push for it, you could still get it. I still think that not working for 2 years. Are you sure, Chris?
You have to have paid into the pension plan in the past 2 years. Period. It's not even that I pay. Well, what about 2 years and 2 months? Or what about 3 years? It's 9 years, Corinne. Like, I don't qualify.
But can't you say that somebody was helping you the whole time?
No, you're missing the point. It's like having an insurance policy. If you don't pay the premiums, you don't get the thing. Right? That's what it is. That's what it is. And so that's why. And so you have to have recent contributions in order to qualify. I should have applied right after the last job. You know what I mean? That would have been the time. But I didn't really. But I'd have to. And then in that 1 year that I decided to take off everything, that was 2009. Well, what happened in 2009? The whole fucking world fell apart, right? Financially, right? That was the big thing. Same thing happened in the United States, It just crashed back. And so it went from an employee-dominated, like back in those days, you drive around and there would be hiring bonuses. Like, if you come and work for us, we'll give you a $1,000 bonus just for taking a job with us. You know what I mean? Or if you already work for us and you bring a friend to work for us, we'll pay you a $1,500 bonus for finding us a worker. And when the oil crashes, then the whole province crashes. What happens when when oil production, all that goes up? All the people, they trek out to the oil jobs, and that leaves all the other jobs in city open, right?
Right.
And so, in fact, there were businesses that had to close because they couldn't hire employees. There wasn't anybody to hire.
Wow.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because what happens, you can imagine, okay, so in all these service jobs, like servers in restaurants and things like this, okay, not desirable jobs, for example, right? The lower paying jobs, okay. So all of the skilled people that can go out and work in the oil patch, they go. That includes all of your tradespeople. That includes a lot of administrative people. All of those people, even housekeeping, food service people, all of those people. Because they do the same work that they're doing here for $10, $15 an hour, and they can go and make $30 an hour at the oil patch to do the same work, right? So all those people leave their jobs. Then people that are in lower paying jobs, they go up a level and they go start applying for these vacancies that have come. You see? And then ultimately through all of that means that all of the crappy low end jobs remain unfilled. Because who's going to go work for that when I can? Also, what happens during a situation like this is that these employers have to start paying a little bit more to either attract employees or to keep their employees, you know. And so, but as soon as the oil market goes boom, then all that goes away, and then everybody treks back to the city. Now they've got their degrees and everything else, and then through attrition and all this, you know, they start to take over the good jobs again, and everyone gets pushed down, and there you go. Employers can start demanding more qualifications than are needed to do that job or that work, and that's just the way it is. It's a terrible thing. This is the longest time in my life that we've been in like a situation like this, you know. And so it's kind of I never
No, I was gonna say, so what do you think what is your plan? Like,
there is no plan. Get a fucking job if I can, and I can't. I need a job. That's my plan, or I'm gonna lose my house. Simple. You know, that's what's happening right now. And it's so frustrating, which I was starting to get a little bit of like hope because the price of oil was starting to increase. And when that happens, that's usually good news for my province, you know?
right. Yeah.
But if all that gets undone, thanks to numbnuts over there, you know, pulling out of the Iran deal, that could just wipe out any gains that have been made here in the price of oil.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I'm in an oil, you know, I'm in an oil. I'm in an oil producing province, and so that it's bust, boom, boom, and bust, based on the oil industry.
Right. Well, I was talking to my friend who was in the oil business for years, and she said that a lot of parts of Europe are switching over in the next few years to electric cars only, which will mean that there's not going to be like a huge demand for oil as there was, you know. And
well, I mean that's just that I don't think a lot of our oil gets exported to Europe. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Right.
So
right.
yeah. And so, like, that would be the thing, right? Who do we sell our oil to? Now, if they change, then that's different. You know what I mean? Then like I've always said, like, the people in the oil industry right now should be taking a lot of their profits and reinvesting in the next forms of energy, and they can continue to be the energy leaders. You know what I mean?
Right. But you know that United States and Canada are never going to go oil free. That's never going to happen. You know what I mean? Well, I can't say Canada.
Yeah, eventually they have no choice. Eventually you have no choice.
Yeah. Yeah. Right.
And so eventually there's no choice. I don't think, you know?
Mhm. Right.
And so, like, because
Yeah.
the minute that they can make solar and all of these other forms of energy cheaper than oil, like, it's consumer driven, right? Like,
Yeah.
so what will I buy? So if I stop buying gasoline and oil products and things like this, well, then that's the end of that. You know what I mean? So it's a question of having a breakthrough in the other forms of energy, and those things can happen in a period of time where there's a government change, for example. You know what I mean? And so if there's a huge, if the Democrats were able to wipe out and then they made a meaningful push to all of these environmental shit, blah, 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 and all that has to happen is that there has to be enough time for these other energy producers to start to thrive, and then it's like a snowball rolling down the hill, right? You can't stop it. And once the consumer's been able to access cheaper forms of energy, they're never going back, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the only way would be for the government to outlaw solar energy. And who in their right mind could do that? Like, they're doing a good job keeping it down and everything and not helping it thrive, but they can't outlaw it. That would be ridiculous. You know what I mean? To outlaw.
Well, they're trying to outlaw holistic medicine right now, or herbal stuff. Yeah.
Completely different, though, right? Completely different.
Well, it's still scary that could happen. You know.
No, I get that. But there's no, like, they can make some, bogus arguments about the dangers of, blah, blah. Okay, so then regulate it. You know what I mean? Don't outlaw it. Regulate nature. Like, because I agree. You want to be sure. Like, I know, like, just from spending a day out at the Devonian Gardens and taking a nature walk with an expert on the plants indigenous to the province and how the Aboriginal people used to use those plants as medicine. And then you find out that, like, this particular plant, if you can only ingest this if it's completely dry. Any stage prior to completely dried could be lethal, right? Or this other plant, the seeds are good, the flower's good, but the roots will kill you. You know what I mean? Like, there's these kind of things that, like
yeah, but Chris, if you are familiar with herbal stuff now on the market right now, that shit ain't happening. You know what I mean? It's like, come on, you know?
I'm saying right, and you want to make sure that it can't happen, right? So all I'm saying is because life and death can hang in the balance of what a naturopath tells you and gives you, right? You want to regulate that. I don't have a problem with regulating that. You can't outlaw it. You know what I mean? Don't outlaw it.
Yeah,
but we don't want anybody. Do you want just anybody being able to call themselves a naturopath and then send you home with something that's going to kill you because they don't know?
No, you mean like traditional doctors sending you home with pharmaceuticals that kill you? No, I don't want that.
Yeah.
You're right.
Exactly.
Yeah,
but
the government's
got
to get a piece of the pie, you know?
You also have to agree, and, like, I'm not on board with doctors. I don't go to doctors, you know what I mean? And so that's the third reason why going for disability become a problem for me, is you got to go through a doctor first, right? But, we have to also understand, yes, the pharmaceutical people are evil, terrible, awful people. Most of the government that's helping to hide them and shelter them and help them thrive, they're no better. They're taking payola. They're taking all the money into their pockets to allow this kind of crap to be going on. But there is some medicines, for example, that, that is good for 95% of the people, and you happen to be allergic to it, and the only way that we might know that you're allergic to it is for you to have an allergic reaction to it. You know what I mean? And so there are those instances, and the same would logically then be feasible within naturopathy as well, right? Is that it's good for most people. But that one, like when we talk about taking horseradish, and I always am cautious to say, but if you're what's the
Chris,
yeah.
excuse me, I apologize, but I'm going to have to cut out here.
Okay, thanks, Dianna.
Forgive me for interrupting.
Frontier.com, and we'll see you next 2 Mondays from now, yes?
Sounds great, yes.
Okay, thanks, Dianna.
Thanks so much. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.
Thanks, Dianna.
Yeah.
You
Great.
too.
So, 2 years. Not 9. 9 years since I paid into CPP, Diane. That's what I was saying. You had to pay within 2 years. Anyhow, I don't know what I was saying now. So anyway, it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter.
She's saying, yeah. Diane's saying something. I don't know what she's talking about, but after 1910, I don't know what that means.
Yeah, she's talking about CPP disability.
Okay.
So, anyway. Oh, we lost Amy.
She's been tired.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's probably time to wrap it up, and I can go and try and scrounge up some food for myself. So since if I leave, you have no one to talk to.
That's okay. That's all right. So, read what Diane's just put in there.
Yeah, I can't, I'm not going to qualify, period, end of sentence. I'm just not, I don't want to have to keep having these arguments with people, you know what I mean? I'm not going to qualify.
Well, she's Canadian, I think she would know the difference.
Oh my.
You know what I mean?
Okay, and I wouldn't know because I'm not Canadian. Okay. Anyway. The rule is there. Secondly is I'm not 100% disabled. You must be found to be disabled from all forms of employment to qualify, period. You know what I mean? I'm not. So that's the end. Regardless if all the, I guarantee you after 10 years of not paying into it, I'm not getting in on a rule that says you have to have paid in the last 2. And so, you can't compare the medical circumstances of me and Diane together. You know what I mean? It's not comparable. That, and this is where disability comes in, right? It comes a question of on your own individual merits, right? And so, so that's the problem. Good for Diane though. That's great. How lucky that is. So, okay, guys, we're out of here. We're back tomorrow with Melissa Bruce, the heavy metal psychic. And till then, we'll see you then. Thanks for being here, guys. Peace out. Thanks, Corinne.
Thank you.